all day. Money, power, respect. 3 the hard way.
What up, YouTube? What up, world? Welcome back to 3 the Hard Way TV. Y'all be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for future notifications. Shows coming almost daily. Today's show, we got the beautiful Octavia. We got the beautiful Bree. My brother, Real. My
the
uncle,
beautiful Real.
OG.
The beautiful Real.
my uncle,
the Real.
the triple OG,
Keep it smooth.
Dead.
And
And
I'm
I'm
making
Dion.
like this no more.
On today's show, we discussing New Orleans Saints quarterback Drew Brees. Drew Brees has just made the news because he said, oh man,
He don't agree.
he said he will never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States during a recent interview with Yahoo Sports. Give us some more background on it, Real.
Yeah, so they interviewed Brees, and what he was saying, he'll never agree with anybody protesting against the flag or the United States because his grandfathers fought in this country for us to be free, and he can't agree with anybody that's disrespecting that flag or the national anthem.
Right. And I see that several other NFL and NBA players took to Twitter, Instagram, and social media to give him their responses and their opinions, with several of them, including LeBron James, saying the protests have nothing to do with the flag. It's about oppression. But we clearly can see that Drew Brees, he's now 41 years old. Drew Brees seems to be another lost white soul in America because he just doesn't seem to get it. After all of these years of him being in the NFL around black teammates and around black kids that, you know, they do quote unquote give backs to, you would think at this point he would understand.
Especially down in New Orleans, like, come on, man, like, after all I guess he did during Hurricane Katrina, he still don't understand. But I guess, you know, I'm not a white man, but the older you get, you know, the older ways probably start coming out. I mean, I think he just lost a life. A flag can't be worth more than a life.
Exactly, and not, especially not this flag here. But I'm gonna read to y'all a couple tweets that I thought were really interesting. All-Pro receiver Michael Thomas, one of his teammates, his favorite target. So I would assume that they had some sort of great relationship. Michael Thomas is of course he black. His first tweet said he don't know no better. His second tweet said, "We don't care if you agree or whoever else." Oh, he said, okay, he said, "We don't care if you don't agree and whoever else, how about that?"
Mm-hmm.
Now, Derek, you done saw way more than we have seen. You know, we have seen a lot as well, but we're gonna let you start off and give your perspectives on Mr. Brees.
When I'm thinking about, I think you said, you know, Drew Brees is like 41 years old. We got to keep in mind that, you know, he's an individual who grew up in a certain community and a certain ideology. And basically, you know, I listened to his comment and tried to give it context as much as I could. So, you know, what I take away from it is that, you know, he's ignorant as to the American flag and the national anthem as how it offends those individuals who are oppressed. So when you look at the national anthem, they're talking about that there's nothing that will be able to save those individuals who were in rebellion or the slaves who fought. I think at this time, if I'm not mistaken, I think the United States tried to invade Canada and Canada was pushing back. And, you know, Then, you know, after Canada bombed United States, only thing was standing was the flag. You understand what I'm saying? And the white man made a song after the skit, and in that he was talking about how, you know, no slave is going to survive, or no anybody else who was against the rebellion, because some of the slaves actually fought with Canada against the U.S. when U.S. tried to invade Canada. Y'all kind of follow me?
Yeah.
So, you know, we have had black people who have always fought and served in the military. You know what I'm saying? Whether they fought with the British, or whether they fought with the unions or the colonies, on up to the Civil War. Black people fought into the Civil War, fought for the flag, fought for freedom. They fought World War One, World War Two, fought in Vietnam War, and I think what Michael Jenkins touched on very, you know, profound when he talked about how his grandfather actually served, you know, in the war too, but he didn't come home to a hero's welcome. You know, they had to endure abuse. You know, he talked about how his grandparents' perspective, from their point of view, that everybody don't view the flag and the national anthem synonymously in the United States. So in the United States, we expected to have all the same experience. You know, it's like, okay, you know, you can either like it or love it. So, you know, that you only have those options there. So I think that he's saying it out of ignorance, saying it from a Eurocentric point of view, saying it from a white supremacist point of view. Those individuals that who benefit from white supremacy and don't really know how it profoundly impact blacks. So now you have a bunch of athletes who's standing up. They wasn't expecting it. So they weren't expecting athletes to go beyond just, okay, we're just kneeling. So, you know, he gave his opinion as to what he thought was respect and disrespect. It's like, you know, your story belongs to you. That's what we mean by his story. So you can write your story how you like, but we've been oppressed over here for 400 plus years. We've been through Jim Crow laws. You know, we've been disenfranchised, not only in our community, but throughout the military. So, you know, we have to, you know, at some point, you know, justice had to prevail, meaning that just us have to prevail in the midst of all this chaos. Follow me? So I think that the man was very, you know, ignorant about it, very shallow, very misinformed, insensitive individual to make a comment like that.
Right. And a lot of you people out there, if y'all don't know, if you're watching now, the national anthem has a third verse. You can go look it up for yourself and you know, see what he was talking about. Because a lot of people don't, you know, they seem to tend not to know that this is a motherfucking racist song. You know, they shocked. No, yeah,
You know what's
motherfucker.
crazy about the national anthem, right? About people who just like so pro national anthem. So this for any of y'all who watching, want to comment in. Y'all don't stand up at home when y'all watching these games and they play the national anthem. Y'all don't stand up at home. Y'all sit down on y'all couch and drink your beer, eat your popcorn, watch these games. Y'all ain't standing up, so stop trying to be all patriotic in the light, and behind closed doors you sitting down.
Exactly. Ladies, Bree, your thoughts?
I just feel like everybody is entitled to their own opinion, and but everybody needs to know when and the right time is to to voice your opinion, especially if you're going to do it such on a widespread that it could necessarily offend someone. Because to me, perception is everything. So even though he may have not meant it in that format, it's perceived in that format. And at the times that we're in, that right now is so critical and so sensitive, that was insensitive to make a comment of that sort. Especially with all the controversy with the national anthem and NFL, you know, kneeling and, you know, things of that nature. So I'm not mad at him for his opinion, because again, that's his opinion. That doesn't make it that it's right. And I don't want to be combative with anybody that's their opinion, but you cannot also try to assassinate me because I don't feel that it's respected. Because my thing is that national anthem had nothing to do with my nationality. Okay, it don't have nothing to do with this melon. So if I choose to rather sing "Lift Every Voice and Sing," then that's what I'm gonna sing. I don't have to say the old Star Spangled Banner. I don't have to do that. That was not for me. That's not for my people. So I mean, we stopped singing it in school. We just sung the "Lift Every Voice and Sing." That's it. So I think it's very, very ignorant. Like you stated, you also are in tune with other children of any race or any nationality. You're in tune with these type of people. And if you're having a conversation with your Joe Blow and it's just a general conversation, then yeah, you're more than welcome to say what it is that you want to say. But if you went on a plateau or some type of social outlet to address that, you wanted to start up some type of controversy or some type of, because I just don't see you being, well, yeah, that dumb. But that's just my opinion.
Drew Brees he's a pretty smart quarterback, but the problem I got with it is like it's whatever. If he that type of white guy, he that type of white guy. He from Dallas, Texas, by the way. And if he that kind of guy, he that kind of guy. But don't hide behind vague statements like that. Like, speak your truth. That's what you like. Speak it. Don't try to make it vague and what people trying to read through, and then watch you come out with another statement to retract that one and say he didn't mean
trying to generalize it and try to put another formula on the recipe, which we already got it.
You know what? My thing is like it's. I was almost surprised by this from him but not really, because he was one of the main people when Kaepernick took the knee 2017, he was taking knees. He was saying this had to be done. But now all of a sudden, now it's a problem. Like, what's the difference then when you did it versus now? What happened? You know what I'm saying?
Trying to save face. He at the end of his career.
Clout.
The money dollars is this is his last contract right here, so he trying to say.
Well, this is last days. Fuck his contract. This is his last day.
Tay, what's your thoughts?
I just think that it's just sheer ignorance. Hopefully, he don't know no better, or he don't know his history or the history of this country or the deep history behind that flag and the anthem. I'm hoping that it's that, but if not, the lines have been drawn, so now we know what side you're on. That's it. Act accordingly.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna throw a curveball in here at y'all. Vic Fangio, Bears old, what was he, the defensive coordinator? Now he the coach of the Denver Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
Today he said that he's been in the NFL 31 years. He's 61 years old. He said never in his 31 years in the National Football League has he ever witnessed or heard about racism being part of the sport of football. And I'm just like, the players got on his ass too, but it's just amazing how these white people have never heard of racism. Like, you sprinkle some pixie dust on the shit and they just, I've never heard of that. I've never witnessed that shit.
I could actually believe it, but in a different way, right? Because it's so natural to them, they don't consider it racism.
Okay.
Like, it's just, like, think if a racist had a child and raised their child just grew up thinking we better than everybody else. We treat people like shit. And they hit a word of the people they think Lord than them, saying, oh, that's racist and this racism. But to them, they like, this normal life. And then inside their little bubble, they protect it because it ain't happening where they at. It just is not. So when they go around and see something out the norm like that, and then they not paying attention to what's going on, like, some of them just complete, they heard about George Floyd, they just went on with their life like nothing happened. They like, hey, it ain't us. So they.
Yeah, I mean, I think that so I mean, Dion. So I got a question for you. When he said he never ever heard of racism playing a role in sports, was there a context to that particular question?
Yeah. Yeah, it had something to do with that. I can't remember exactly in what context. No, you know what? No, okay. It had something to do with George Floyd. He released a statement saying that police brutality needs to stop, and he sent his condolences out to the Floyd family and others in his country that suffered oppression and things like that at the hands of the police. So that's where it came from. But and today he retracted his statement almost immediately and said that he was sorry and that he didn't mean it that way. It just came out that way, and some different shit like that.
Right.
I'm trying to find exactly what he said. Okay, it says, he did it. He said that yesterday, but today he took it back. He said, after reflecting on my comments yesterday and listening to the players this morning, I realized what I said regarding racism and discrimination in the NFL is wrong.
He's a part of the problem.
I mean, I think that I mean, when we're looking at the NFL, you think about the Rooney Rule, right? So the Rooney Rule, was put together so that each any NFL team who had a vacancy would have to at least interview one black person for a head coach, right? And the reason that is because of the racist system of traditionally all the white coaches get hired. So for this man to be an assistant coach in the NFL for about however many years, I know he just got last year was his first year as a head coach.
30 years.
30 years as assistant. So now, as a head coach over the 30 years, you don't know what the Rooney Rule is, and you don't know why the Rooney Rule was put into place, and you sit back and say, over your history of the NFL, you never heard that racism had an impact on sports because you're a head coach. So if you're a head coach, and you're going up for a head coaching candidate position, then obviously a motherfucker got to say, Vic, we got to interview Derek first because he's a black man according to the Rooney Rule. So they may not going to say, because he's a black man, they say according to the Rooney Rule, we interviewed a couple more candidates. We got Derek, so we got Real, we got Dion, and they know the commonality is that we black, he's white. So he know what the fuck is going on. He know that rule was put into place for a particular reason, and I think that's why he's so quick to recant. And so white people have been able to do whatever they want to do for so many years, and they've been just putting the blind over things. So the reality is that the Big Fangio and the Drew Brees and some of those other athletes who never spoke out, or they stood for whatever that they believe in. This is the first time, as I know of, in the history that you have the magnitude or the multitude of black athletes actually verbally speaking out against police brutality and inequality on a mass scale. See, that's what they're afraid of. That's what they don't like. You understand? So that's why when them players get at their ass and be like, "What you just say?" then they retract their statement.
Because they know that it's a 7-year-old white boy in the suburb of Nebraska that looks up to LeBron James like he a god figure. So LeBron James is talking about it. They know it's a 10-year-old in the suburb of California somewhere that look at Malcolm Jenkins like, oh my God, I want to be just like him when I grow up. So now that these people that your white children are idolizing are speaking down upon this shit, now you got to they have to then come up with a different way to do what they doing. They can't do it so openly. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And just put it out there. And if this was 2 years ago, if it was 5 years ago or 10 years ago, nobody would have said a fucking word. But now the world has woken up It's finna be
And
some
with
motherfucking trouble, man.
hey, and with the
I feel fucking good. You hear me?
hey, with the advantages of social media, you know, players like Michael Jenkins, like you said, 10 years ago, he wouldn't have had a platform. He's not a superstar, so he wouldn't have been getting interviewed. You know what I'm saying? They was only interviewing superstars. But now with the instantaneous Twitter, you know, Instagram, Facebook, stuff like
Black
that.
Twitter.
But
Yeah,
Michael Jenkins got at least 10 years in the league, though.
yeah, but I'm saying, you know, like he in that deep, but you don't think back, think like, you know, when they came to interview the Bulls, how many times did Ron Harper do an interview? And he was a hell of a player, you know what I'm saying? So Michael Jenkins, and he played on the same team with Drew Brees. They went to interview him, but yeah, he spoke out. And like Doug Baldwin, right, I'm going to read you what he said. He said, the reason my children have to live in a world that won't empathize with their pain is because people like you, Drew, raising your children to perpetuate the cycle. You are the problem.
Facts.
And you know what I'm saying? Like that, he teaching his kids that same shit. So it's just like they ain't even trying to break it either. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad everybody's speaking out about it, man.
You know what? I'm mainly the most part that I'm glad about is that his own teammates
didn't let it
we
slide.
we know that Drew Brees is the leader of the team. You got the coaching staff. Matter of fact, you got the head coach, and then you got Drew Brees. And then everybody else falls in line after that. I don't give a fuck how you look at it. The two main figures of that team is the head coach and Drew Brees. I'm glad that the little guy on the team that's probably playing 10 snaps is like, no, motherfucker, you're not doing that. You're not gonna do that, man. You're not gonna separate this locker room with that bullshit, man. You're not gonna separate the fans with that bullshit. We one team.
And you know, like I just wanna thank the NBA, because the NBA is what allowed all these other leagues to start letting giving their players power to speak out. Because remember, football players weren't really speaking out.
No.
Baseball players never speak out. You know what I'm saying? The NBA was the only league, you know what I'm saying, currently, because I remember, you know, back in the 90s when they banned, what was his name from Denver?
Chris Jackson, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf.
Right, because he went stand for the anthem and they kicked him out. But fast forward to the 2000s, they was empowering their players to speak on stuff like this. So that was a big step. And now the NFL taking that same step.
He was a trendsetter.
Yep.
Well, I don't know, man. Like I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Ever since like, I'm not really I'm not gonna say a lot. Like I'm not really a fan of Colin Kaepernick and the shit he had going on, because I looked at Colin Kaepernick kind of like as an opportunist in sort of a way. I understood the message, but once he started, I started feeling like he started getting away from the message. You know what I'm saying? Because he started wanting to make it, I don't know, like bigger than him or something. Like I kind of felt in a way like he was doing too much with it. Like when he kept it nice and simple with the kneeling and all this different stuff, but then he started playing those games like he wanted to be back in the NFL, but then he really didn't want to be back in the NFL. He kind of lost me. You know, but I like the direction, the way things is going right now. And you know, Drew Brees, we're not going to accept your apology, man, because I ain't looking forward to it. You should know better by now. You're 41 years old. There's no way that you should let some shit like that slip out of your mouth.
Nope. And since you passed my boy Peyton Manning, none of those touchdowns count. None of those yards. None of that shit. None of that.
So I think what, you know, Drew Brees got to understand and go back and reflect on this particular climate. You know, when we have this black man who was brutally executed out in public, you know what I'm saying, in plain sight for the world to view. And then now you have people across America protesting. We have others on duty, you know, they won't change. You know, so those individuals that have been pain, it appears for him to try to educate us on the history of his own family, you know, and all that stuff. Like, you know, our grandfather and grandmother ain't try to fade away and fought, you know, with their own personal affairs. So I think, you know, someone like him, you know, he allowed himself to be faded into a conversation. And I really thinking about how he was insensitive to the plight what's taking place in America. So this is bigger than the motherfucking flag.
Exactly. Definitely is. And just to piggyback on what Dion was saying, like with Kaepernick, I was all with Kaepernick. Even after the want to be in the NFL, I think that was all a part of his plan. But I think that like our leaders who've been through this before, they kind of failed Kaepernick. Because I think Kaepernick thought that they was going to kind of embrace him and back him. And it was just kind of like he was out there solo. And I think he started with good intention, but he wasn't fully aware of how big it was going to get. And then it kind of lost him in the swirl of things. And then being signed with Nike, they kind of pushed him in the direction where you thought like when like Jim Brown them and Muhammad Ali them did it, you know, they had leaders. And Kaepernick stepped out there. Nobody really came to his side to help aid him. I hate to say this, Jesse Jackson and Farrakhan, they didn't come for him. He was just kind of soloing. And then people were just turning on him. So I think his message got lost. But now, fast forward 3 years later, and his message lining right up. You know, now people got to go back and look. He was speaking of this right now in this same situation. And now that George Floyd got, what people don't understand, like Drew Brees, they looking at like George Floyd. What about the EMT that got shot? What about Ahmaud? Like all them that lost people, you know, the coverage of them that got lost in the swirl of George Floyd because George Floyd thing was so big, but yet all this stuff happened within a 2-month span. And, you know, people like Drew Brees, either they just playing dumb or they just turn a blind eye to it, which we know a lot of them do.
And I tell you, I saw you frown up when I talked about Colin Kaepernick. So you got something you want to say?
You saw me frown up?
Yeah.
No, you said you thought he was kind of like using it to his advantage. I don't think I thought that. That's why I frowned a little bit. But, you know, it could have been. But, you know, I don't know.
Well, okay. Anybody got anything else you want to add? Because I'm just gonna say fuck Drew Brees. Hope they break his motherfucking leg or something this year.
I'm with the fuck Drew Brees campaign too. Anybody in 2020 that don't understand systematic racism and, you know, fuck them. You should know by now. It's been too many accounts of the shit happening for you to not do your homework or for you to not be hip up on the news.
And I know I know the New Orleans Saints got a PR person. He should have ran that shit across them before he even sat down and had that interview, so they could have said, "Hey, you're not saying that shit. This is what you say."
Hey, but it's good they caught him in the role. I mean, hey, I'd rather them be out in public with it than be behind the closet with it.
2020 vision. Things are becoming very clear.
I'm praying that his shit get broken like Joe Theismann or Alex Smith. No. Okay, that's what the fuck I'm praying for. And then we hope your doctor black, motherfucker. And we go see what happens. Yeah, we can't say this motherfucker. It's too white. Look like raw chicken. We want to thank y'all for watching. Y'all leave y'all comments below. The email as well as the phone numbers below. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and fuck the Saints, man. Y'all should have kept Teddy Bridgewater. We out.
Yeah.
All day, money, power, respect, 3 the hard way.